Whenever we hear the name Egypt, images of massive pyramids, mummies, Tutankhamun's treasures, countless mysteries, and one of the world's oldest civilizations come to mind. But today, this very country lies empty for miles and miles. Around 5,000 years ago, Egyptian civilization began. People here were among the first in history to learn writing and built enormous pyramids. Yet today, about 97% of this country's land lies empty. The question is why? If you look closely at the map of Egypt, you'll see that it is quite a large country, covering around 1 million square kilometers. Its population is about 110 million. But the most surprising fact is that nearly 95% of the population lives in just about 3% of the land area. Because of this, cities are extremely crowded, while on the other hand, there are miles and miles of empty land where you won't see a single person. Even areas that were once the center of ancient Egyptian civilization and attracted people from all over the world thousands of years ago are now completely deserted. So what is the real reason behind this? Is there some curse of the pharaohs? Mython, and you're watching Romanchopedia. Egypt was my first international trip, and it was a slow trip. I stayed in Egypt for 15 days and traveled from one end of the country to the other, covering all historical and important places. I closely observed the culture, history, roads, politics, and geography, and spoke with ordinary people. Honestly, many of my ideas about Egypt changed during these 15 days, and by the end of this video, yours might change too. Let's begin. Before understanding Egypt's history and culture, we need to understand its geography and climate. Egypt is one of the largest Arab countries in North Africa. To the west lies the vast Sahara Desert, Western Desert, and to the east lies the Eastern Desert extending to the Red Sea. To the north is the Mediterranean Sea, and to the south lies Sudan's desert. Egypt's climate is quite extreme. While winter temperatures in our region drop to 15 degrees Celsius, in Egypt winter temperatures remain around -30 degrees Celsius. In summer, temperatures can reach nearly 50 degrees Celsius. The air is extremely dry, with almost no humidity, and it hardly rains for years. However, if you move north along the Nile, you'll reach Alexandria, where the weather is pleasant. But as you move south toward Cairo, Luxor, and Aswan, the climate becomes even more extreme. I personally traveled under this intense heat for 15 days, and I even got a fever in the last 2 days. Due to the harsh desert environment, survival is very difficult. Since there is almost no rainfall and no water source apart from the Nile, agriculture is nearly impossible in most areas. That's why even today about 95% of Egypt's land is not suitable for farming. But this desert wasn't always like this. Around 8,000 to 9,000 years ago, the Sahara Desert didn't even exist. It was a vast grassland. Ancient Egyptians lived there. But as the climate changed, temperatures rose, and the grasslands turned into deserts. People began wandering in search of water. Their lives depended entirely on water and grazing land. They moved from place to place, setting up tents wherever they found water or grass, raising camels, goats, and sheep. When resources ran out, they moved again. Over time, as water became scarcer, they moved eastward and eventually settled along the Nile River. Here they found abundant water, fertile soil, fish, vegetation, and land suitable for farming. For them, it was like paradise. We often read that Egypt is the gift of the Nile. But why? The Nile, about 7,000 kilometers long, is the longest river in the world. In the past, it flooded almost every year, covering surrounding lands. When the water receded, it left behind fertile silt, making the land perfect for agriculture. This fertile land is the reason Egyptian civilization developed along the Nile. cities like Memphis, Thebes, and Alexandria were built along its banks. Even today, satellite images show greenery only around the Nile. Ancient Egyptians called their land Kemet because of the black soil of the Nile, which they saw as a blessing from the gods, contrasting with the red desert sands. Their culture and mythology were deeply connected to the Nile. Now, how did the names Egypt and Misr originate? The word Misr came through the Arabs, meaning a well-developed civilization, and is also mentioned in the Quran. The Greeks called the land Aegyptos, meaning temple of the gods, which later became Egypt. Historically, Egypt was divided into Upper and Lower Egypt, about 5,125 years ago. King Nama unified them. After that, about 31 dynasties ruled for nearly 3,000 years, making Egypt one of Africa's greatest empires. The pyramids were built during this time. Since people had settled along the Nile, all major cities and capitals were built there. Trade, transportation, and construction all depended on the Nile, even today. Most jobs and opportunities are concentrated in these areas, causing people to migrate to cities, leaving the rest of the land empty. However, this population concentration has created major problems. Egypt has a population of about 110 million. With 60 to 65% under the age of 35, many young people face unemployment. Due to high population growth, often with large families, the pressure on resources has increased. Agricultural land isn't expanding, so Egypt imports about 40% of its food. This is weakening the economy. After the Arab Spring in 2011, many companies left, GDP dropped, and unemployment increased. Today, one of the largest employers is the military, which controls many industries. Tourism is another major source of income. Millions of tourists visit Egypt every year, contributing about 10 to 12% to GDP and supporting around 3 million jobs. Another major income source is the Suez Canal, which generates around $7 to $8 billion annually. However, challenges remain: economic slowdown, dominance of imported, especially Chinese products, corruption, and gender wage gaps. Another major concern is the Nile itself. Its water flow is decreasing due to climate change and Ethiopia's dam construction upstream. The Aswan High Dam reduced flooding, but it also stopped natural silt deposition, making farming harder. Now, Egyptians manually extract silt from canals to fertilize land. So, now you understand why most of Egypt's population lives in such a small area. Despite many stereotypes, my 15-day trip to Egypt was smooth and problem-free. If you want a detailed guide on traveling to Egypt, costs and planning, let me know. This is just the first video in the Egypt series. More videos are coming soon. I'm Mithun, and you were watching Romanchopedia.